Everybody, hoping you all are doing well. Once again, welcoming you in the channel of Learn with Amana. And today I have brought for you another tip that is related to speaking English, and that is your pronunciation style. If you want to speak like a native speaker, what useful tips you are going to opt for? So before I start today's video, I want to tell you that a super useful tip to pronounce English like a native speaker is to use contractions. So whenever you speak, otherwise, your speech sounds are very formal and spontaneous into English language native as a native speaker. So when you constrain and constructions, when you do it in your speech, you more naturally rhythm in English language. So I'll be telling you today 11 tips that will be very useful for you in order to improve and speak like a native speaker. So while you can study English at textbook or a web page, it doesn't really matter if you want to speak or if you will be able to speak well. So you can store all the vocabulary you want to, and English speakers cannot understand what you speak. If it is the case, then for sure you are going to have problems. And that's really nothing. So you can work with your English speaking in a very best way. Before I start today's tips, the first tip is I want to say tip number one is pronunciation matters. So, first of all, you must understand that pronunciation matters a lot. As I have already told you, you can study vocabulary from a textbook. So, if you want to learn the pronunciation and the correct words of pronunciations, so your speaking skills will be ineffective. Instead, this is critically not to be read the words of the textbooks and to cram them. What's a good rule? A good rule is to listen the words that you have read. So now many languages and language apps are there which helps you actually to be more fluent in native speaking. Tip number two is that spend time with native speakers. Now, how you will spend time with native speakers. So, what is pro tip number two? And that is that you should pay attention to the native speaking and spend time with them. So, major benefit of English course will be to provide plenty of opportunities to spend time with native speakers since you want to be taken seriously by the native speakers whenever you speak. So it's very important to have conversations and to begin to learn new pronunciation and words to place your conversation more effective. So, what is tip number three? That is, you should pay attention with your ears. We cannot actually emphasize the importance of listening enough. So you have to do it very best listening as well. We understand this can be really difficult at first and at the beginning, but later on you will be lost in the conversation when you will be able to listen to things and comprehend and understand them. However, listening simple English and speaking is a great learning opportunity for you, and for example, you will be able to learn how words are stressed. So, this way, you are going to improve yourself ahead. What's the tip number four? Look at the mouth. Now, phonetics is the study of speech sounds and the way a person makes the speech sounds, and the articulation words is shaped, literally, by the way he or she uses her mouth. So, therefore, it can be improved by the ability of your speaking skills and the study movements what you make. So for looking at the movements, the best way is to look at BBC Learning English. It has an entire collection of online videos and consonant and vowel sounds in English language. So you should watch all the movies in front of a mirror and try them in front of a mirror, and you should focus on watching your mouth. Now, what's the point number five that we are going to discuss? Recognize different accents. What's that? Now, that is tricky. Next thing that I'm going to talk to you. That is that you should recognize different accents. Now, a tricky part of learning how to sound like a native is identifying accents. So now, depending on what the native English speaker is from, you will notice a slight change in her way whenever she speaks. So accents are very greatly across different regions from United States. Likewise, English is spoken across the world, and you will need to recognize different accents between the countries, such as Britain and Scotland. So ideally, when you should focus on learning the accent where you will most likely be speaking English. What's the tip number 6? Mimic native speakers. It's been said that imitation is the highest form of flattery. So when it comes to language learning, it is wonderful to mimic. Now make a point to imitate those native speakers who speak very well, and this may be the teacher or trainer at Washington Language School or any actor on television. So either way, pay attention to how individuals speak and mimic her or him. So tip number 7 is watch your pace. People will be able to tell you are not a native speaker by the pace which you speak with. So if you speak too slowly, or if you slow down or breathe and break for a long time, so how people will assume? People will assume English is not your first language. And if you want to fool them into thinking, they would be thinking that you are not good at it and you can speak it just as well in a very simple way. So whenever then you need to watch what? You need to really go for pacing and keeping pace among the words whenever you are speaking. So what's the next step? Add contractions. Native speakers frequently use contractions while speaking, and contraction is formed from two words such as shouldn't instead of should not. So contractions are informal usually and they work well in casual conversations. So if you don't use contractions when conversing casually, then you will sound too formal. Now, your dictionary has an easy way to follow and using contractions in English language. So, what's the next step? Flavor your speech with slangs and idioms. Similarly, native English speakers pepper their conversation with slangs or idioms. Now, what are slangs? They basically refer to informal language that tends to come in and out off fashion depending on your culture. So, idioms are the figurative phrases or expressions. They are not meant literally, but using slangs and idioms will show your English well enough to speak casually, joke in English. So, what's the tip number 10? Now, practice, practice, and practice. Next, it's the imperative to make practicing English part of your daily routine. And the more you practice speaking like a native speaker, the more like you will be able to do in your conversation. So practice in front of your mirror, practice with your friends, practice with language partner, try reading aloud, consider memorizing famous speeches, sing popular songs, and do whatever suits you doing. So record yourself so that you can listen to wherever you are improved and where you are not improved. So in this way you can move ahead along. So what's the last step of the day? That surely is ask for help. Now who is going to help? Finally, ask for help. Just students who attend different linguas, you will be access to the trainers who are native speakers. Let's see that it's asking for help is going to really be helpful for you. So they will be asked to help upon to everybody. And you, if you're taking English class, it's natural to ask for help of pronouncing different words and learning how to use slangs. So just take advantage of your teachers, classmates, and English learning environment and serve all the people around you. So, this is how you're going to be greatly helped. And by these 11 tips, you will be able to become a native speaker of any language you want to. I have specifically talked to you for English language, and you can further find out the ways how you can be native speaker in different upcoming your new language, whatever you want to learn. So till my next video, do take care of yourself. Fi aman Allah. This is Learn English with Amina. Take care, keep subscribing, sharing, and hit liking.